Hey everyone. Man, today was a roller coaster. Let me tell you. I honestly don't know how I made it to the end, but I'm glad that I did. You might be wondering, why is he in a black void? Well, this isn't any old black void. This is a crudely put together backdrop that I borrowed from our family friend who was using it for video calls. Um, and I have to say, uh, it definitely has an interesting feel. I mean, that stain there not really being something that I would approve of, but I honestly don't know how they got there. I just set this up and just I actually started in the morning. And I even got help from my mom in the evening when I arrived home for lunch from work. And we steamed the entire backdrop and we tried clipping it and stretching as best as we could. And we even, my mom even wet it and put it in the dryer to see if that would help get some wrinkles out. And I mean, as you can see, there's still some wrinkleness to this background, but on top of that, um, there's stains, and I don't know how those stains got there. Honestly, it's crazy. Yeah, I think I would probably just use that AI background instead. I mean, it. I think it's just better, honestly. I wanted to try this just to see how it would look, and now I know that I don't really like it. So I think it would be best to put this background out of its misery. But I'm glad I was able to use it for this one video, so that's nice, I guess. It gets one final send off before I take it down. Now, in the morning, if I can recall correctly, we had breakfast. What breakfast did we have? That's a great question. I'm having a hard time remembering. I think egg burritos. Yeah, it was egg burritos. They were pretty good, except I got a little bit of a crunch in one of them, and I think it might have been one of the shells. So that was a bit surprising, I guess. But hey, I guess that's extra calcium, baby. Um, and they had salsa in them, so that was good. I liked the salsa. Throughout my morning, my mom was asking me for help to make schematics for the eventual um, wooden boards we're going to be installing in the back guest room to give it more of a fancy look and feel. Now, the thing with this board was that she didn't want it to be like, straight lines throughout. She wanted it to be offset to give it sort of a pattern, and she believed that this would make the room feel much larger than it actually is. So she basically got me to take out ChatGPT, and we used the O3 model of GPT, the one that's apparently good at advanced reasoning. And my mom asked it many questions on how to get the desired look she was going for. And it was very detailed and very precise on exactly what my mom was seeking. And it even drew schematics, which honestly was a first. Like, I don't recall the last time that the model drew schematics, so that was very surprising to me. The schematics it drew basically had it going like up a staircase design, which I thought was very interesting. Now, after the whole experience with that, I wanted to do some research on starting a YouTube live streaming activity on the side for me to do. And this is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, but I keep on putting it off because I let my laziness and complacency get in the way. But I had a really strong drive to want to pursue this, and it's basically a documentation of me teaching myself how to become a better artist through live stream videos. So, like, I watch like a classically trained artist teach through a video, and then I basically monkey see, monkey do what the artist is doing, and then I take notes and try to, get to grips with what's going on. And I showed my mom how my background was doing, and she said she wanted the background to be. She said she wanted to be more private or more focused, because the one with like the my bedroom in the background was very distracting. Now, I could have used the AI feature of filling a background in behind me so I didn't have to get this whole elaborate setup out. But our family friend recently got this backdrop. I don't know where they got it from. I think it might have been from Amazon, and it was like 15 like bucks or something like that. I don't know exactly how much it was. But they weren't using it, and so they allowed me to use it. So I put it together, and I basically spent my whole morning trying to learn how to flatten this thing and make it look more professional. And as you can see, this here's the end result, and I wouldn't say it looks that flat. It looks really lumpy. Not a fan. Yeah, then I had to go to work, because we're running low on time, because I was getting focused on this thing. It was a really involved process. I had to like tighten the framing, and I had to get the cloth, and I was finagling my way with it, trying to figure out what was the best approach to getting it to be as straight as possible. And it was so involved. I wasn't expecting it to be extremely involved. It ate up a whole hour of my time, which, tends to happen when you're seeking perfection. But I needed to go to work, so I went to work, and at work, the first hour was spent karting, and it was a really muggy day. It was warm, very warm. But one of the things I wanted to mention was that on my way to work, I remember I was listening to a little motivational audiobook to kind of keep me company on my ride there. And one of the things that stood out to me from this motivational audiobook was the line, "Don't look at things as they are, look at things as they can be." And something about that line really resonated with me deeply. And I think it's because it has to do with the fact that we get caught up in our mind traps of like thinking negative thoughts and just constantly like grumbling our way through life and going, this went wrong, that went wrong, everything sucks, meh, 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 meh. And the thing is, like, you know, you don't have to complain about it, you know. I mean, you can, and, you know, if it's something that requires attention, then bring attention to it, bring awareness to it. But at the same time, just complaining about it for the sake of complaining about it is just a tiring exercise. And if you can see a way to make the situation better, and you have the power to make the situation better, and, you know, it's a situation that troubles you, then make the situation better. And I think that's why that line resonated with me. It was someone saying, you know, the author saying, don't look at how things are, look at how they can be. And, you know, in this world, we always get caught up with all this negativity, all this bad news, and, like, all this stuff. And the reality is, we have the power to just not let it affect us on a deep personal or emotional level, and instead use it as energy and fuel to set the world on a better course. That's the message I got out of it anyways. I forget the name of the book. I think it was called The Law of Abundance, and it's like an audiobook that is on YouTube for it's like an hour and 30 minutes. It's really short. I just started listening to it today. Hopefully it's not part of the many audiobooks that I listened to for a little while and then just abandon. Like The Most Dangerous Game, I still haven't returned to that one. Probably should. But anyways, I was just thinking about that and thought it was a really powerful message, yeah. As I was pushing carts. Then it was 2 hours of front-end bagging work. Normally, I'm like a jokester. I like to say, like, observational humor or just really dumb puns or whatever, or just make a note of, like, you know, how someone, like, is, you know, appreciating the day. But today I decided to be more quiet, more reserved, and I believe the reason for that has a lot to do with just I don't know, I guess I was just in this focused state where, like, I wanted to just immediately get back and work on my whole, you know, background thing. Like, when I start this thing, I want it to finish. And, you know, I just have that in my mind, and I'm like, I want to get that done. And I can't because I'm doing this thing. But I didn't let it, like, get to me on a super deep level, but I guess I was just a little more, like, reserved today because I was just in a more focused state, like with a dead stare like this. Yeah. So I really don't have much to say about the front end work. And I also don't have much to say about my break. I'm pretty sure I did some breath work during my break. That felt nice and relaxing. But as for the next 2 hours, which was front end work and lot, it was fine. Did some delivery, yeah. Drove home for lunch. And when I arrived, our family friend was very nice. She made beef and rice burritos. They were already ready to go on a plate for me to eat. And she made them because she had the day off. It was Sunday. And she just felt like she wanted to make me some. So that was nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. After gobbling that up, I noticed there was some new snacks on the table, and one of the things was croutons, and I was half finished with my beef and rice burrito and thought, I'm going to put some croutons in the burrito to see how that tastes. And it pretty much tastes like how you expect it to taste. Very crunchy and soft at the same time. Really not that much different than like putting a chip in a burrito. And some Rice Krispies too. Ooh, well, just one Rice Krispie treat anyways. Dip that in some coffee. Yummy. Delicious. And then throughout my lunch, my mom was helping me straighten this thing out. And then we parted our separate ways. And I drove all the way back to work. Now, when I arrived, I was given 3 hours of lot and 1 hour of, 3 hours of sweeps is what I meant to say. Sorry, my brain's a little fried. But 3 hours of sweeps and 1 hour of lot. And it was pretty chill for the first 2 hours, I would say. The last hour, though, it was pretty crazy. Like, I went on my last break, I did a bit of breath work, then I got down, and I helped a few customers out, including an older lady who was looking for some chicken and beef gravy. She was very grateful for my services. And then there was a Mexican man who said he was in his 60s, who says his body's like giving out. Although surprisingly, his face looks like pretty young for someone in their 60s. Like, his face looks like it could easily belong to someone from their 40s. But he needed a little stroller or a rider, one of those electric cart things to get around. And it's clear he hadn't really taken good care of his body, and he also was had the sailor mouth, I would say. He was cursing up a storm. But he seemed like he had a good heart, though. He talked about how he used to hang out with his son, but his son now has like a wife and like a kid on the way, and he doesn't like have a son anymore because he's hanging with his, wife. And he recently was finished with like 2 funerals. I was like, dang, this is some heavy stuff to drop on me, because like you asked me, hey, I need help finding the pastries, and I was like, don't worry, I'll help you out. I'm always down to help. And he said, bleepin' A. So I'm like, dang. Oh, okay, cool. And I guess he felt like there was like a more nuanced connection to the point where he'd share that more deeper personal stuff. But I was down to listen. I mean, I'm always down to listen. But that took up quite a bit of time because he would like talk about it. Oh, and that reminds me, on my first hour of lot, there was another guy who was talking to me. It was a pretty interesting fellow. He said he was homeless, but he said he was also trying to make music, and he had a lot of inspiration, and he believes his music's better than a lot of stuff on like radio right now, and he's trying to get a band together in Los Angeles. And I'm thought, wow, someone with goals and dreams. I respect it. Cool. Even if they're in a precarious situation, they still find a way to make it out. Gotta love that. Now, when it comes to the last hour, it was crazy because I was given trash duty, and trash duty was bananas because there was no U-boat to take the trash out. And so I was looking for one, I couldn't find one, and then I asked one of the stock clerks if they knew if there was one that was empty, and they told me that all of them were used, and I'd have to find one in the refrigerator section and move boxes off from it so I could use the U-boat to do my trash duty. So that ate up quite a bit of time, about like 5 to 10 minutes. And I was doing it as normal, but then I hit a roadblock with the bathrooms because the men's bathroom, no issues, took the trash out there, but the women's restroom, there was a lady in there and she was doing a thing, and I didn't really feel comfortable with interrupting them. It was like a Asian lady that didn't really speak English, and she didn't want to be disturbed when I opened the door, and so I had to leave her be because she was in the middle of something in there. I don't know what, but I couldn't get the trash from there, so I had to move all the way to the back, and wow, it was crazy. It was like loaded everywhere. Trash in the break room, trash in the employee men and women's restrooms. Yeah. Luckily, one of our managers did open the door for me to open the gate, but I don't really like touching rusted metal with my bare hands because I'm worried like the oxidative metal is gonna give me some kind of skin rash or something. So I put on some gloves that I found in the cut fruit section, and I moved it that door open, had to push that chain up, and yeah, the trash out in the back was full, so I had to take my little pokey stick that I used to open the lid, and I Mario 64'd all of the trash in there the best of my ability, where he grabs Bowser's tail and spins it around until he lets go and says, "So long, Le Bowser." Yeah, that. But yeah. And then I finally finished the trash, but by then it was like 9 and the lot was full, so I needed to just do my best to clear it as best as I could, and I did the best I could, but I was asked by the manager to leave after 13 minutes, and I'd say I got a pretty sizable chunk out of it, but the middle station was quite full, so yeah. But I punched out. I said goodbye to my co-working brethren and sisterin, and I drove home while listening to this YouTube channel where apparently 6 people have claimed that they have psychic abilities of connecting with higher intelligence and then relaying their message back to people. And basically, the message is pretty much the same. I've listened to 3 videos now. It's like, you must have peace and love and peace. Don't let the whores of the world get you down, because peace and love is where it's at. Go now. And that's pretty much what we could boil all of the messages down to in a few seconds. But yeah, I wanted to see if there was anything different about this message, but since there isn't, it's kind of like a boy who cried wolf situation. I'll probably stop listening to that. When I arrived home, a criterion for the movie WALL-E was at my our doorstep, and I opened it, and yeah, Criterion WALL-E, pretty cool. Can't wait to watch it. It's gonna be awesome. And then I set up this whole camera and recording thing, and that's pretty much the day. Yeah, it was a good day. It was a bit of a stressful day, though, with the whole ending and all that. And not gonna lie, my back is pretty tender and sore right now. And I go back to work tomorrow from 11 to 8, so I better get my rest. So thanks for listening. Time's currently 10:24. I'm hoping to start getting ready and go to bed by 11:30. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.